I started it during the last summer when I think a lot of emotions were particularly charged about, Black Lives Matter, and representation and accountability. And I was like, no, I own this company. This is me. Like I was like my little face on my little Instagram kind of thing. And if I didn't sell, I remember people being like, well, when are you going to sell X? I don't like selling. I don't like that plant, so I'm not going to sell it. And they would just look at me like I was crazy. And I'd be like, this is my company. I'm Nika. If I don't want to sell it, I don't have to. Because I kind of felt for the first time it was very liberating to have that ownership where it wasn't just, I wasn't just this nameless entity in my own company. It was very much like part of my company's brand is me. And that was a first.
Yeah. I mean, I think you brought up a lot that I'd like to have another conversation with around Black people hiding behind, whiteness in order to make money because we've had to. And that's the way we've been able to grow our businesses on multiple levels. And it's a sad truth that a lot of us don't talk about. I want to talk a little bit more about Plant Salon and your connection to plants and your ability to be yourself and sort of come home. I feel like when I think about Black people and, what we need to do to hold our families together. And with what you just mentioned, Black Lives Matter has been horrifying for Black people in America. I mean, we've always been dealing with that horror, but now it's turned into a toxic level of horror. And white people are now part of the horror, and, they're participating in the horror in multiple ways, at multiple levels, is also painful for us. But I do think that what's happened, which is why I wanted to talk to you, is that some of our conversations have shifted to making sure to prioritize our own well-being, which is what you just talked about. Making sure that this is my shop, this is my life, this is my emotional responsibility and expression, and I'm going to make decisions. Has that conversation come up more and more now especially in the plant community? And I should say Black plant community. First of all, let me just clarify.
I mean, I think in the Black plant community, like people are just like enjoying this newfound, accessibility. There's just so many plants. Like plants is such a big subject for like so many people who have been stuck at home for so long that it's kind of like nice that, there's just more access to it. Versus, if you had a hard time finding a plant that you've only seen online, now you can probably find it a little bit more easier, and being able to find each other. So there's just more community in sharing that. I follow so many wonderful like plant Instagram people that it's somewhat funny. At a certain point, I think I follow between Facebook and Instagram, I follow more of a Black plant community than a general plant community.
Has that always been the case? So I guess that's what I'm wondering, because of this environment, the pandemic, and us being stuck, have there been more conversations around how we have to start taking care of ourselves? It's kind of like what you and I talked about earlier, where some women, not all, unfortunately, but some women are starting to realize that we have to take care of women before we take care of anyone else. Like we have to do this so that we can survive this. But as far as the Black community in plants, I've just noticed, being an outsider and new to the conversation, that there is an unapologetic vibe of well-being in the Black community, but specifically in the Black nature community. It seems powerful to me. Are you noticing that more?
They are very protective of Black spaces and the idea of, and I think what it is, it's such a big, that intersectional, the big intersectional word, but it's so intersectional because we can talk plants in a technical way about like, what's going on, what's going wrong, what's going right. And then if someone drops a phrasing or a cultural reference, you get it in you understand it on a whole different level. Like it's an inside joke coming in an already little niche community. And if you were to drop that joke in, and I've seen this happen where somebody uses a phrasing that would be totally not even a discussion, not even an issue in maybe a Black space, but they used a phrasing in a more generic space, and it rubbed maybe more of the, I don't want to say, I don't even know if I don't know if they're white or not, but they weren't black. So it rubs, it feels something's off to those other people. They want an explanation, or it felt too aggressive. There's a one instance I'm thinking of where this person, was selling a plant, and she was like, I know what I have. I know what it's worth. And what she meant was, please, let's just don't come at me with low balls, And in the plant world, when you are a higher end collector, these plants go for, hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. So she was selling probably like a $200, $300 plant, and she was selling it aggressively price wise. But the phrasing she used, when she used that in, the all black, marginalized gender kind of space, that group was like, okay, got it. You're serious. Oh, I got to save. I'm gonna, if it's still around next month, maybe I'm going to come back and get that then. And in the wrong group, they were like, oh my gosh, that's such aggressive language. And it almost reinforces for then the audience, for the Black people participating, this is why we still need a Black space, because we should be able to have those tones and conversations that are just like, there's nothing, it's not like there's any actual content. It's literally the tone with which you said something. And that was what's weird. There are some amazing plant influencers out there. One of my favorite is Plant Blurred on Instagram. And she had this amazing page she got going last summer where all she did was repost. And I think she still has it going. She definitely still has it going. But all she does is repost other Black plant people that she finds and have cool pages. It's very much in a space of sharing each other's presence, sharing that you exist.
I mean, it's a political statement. That's kind of what I'm saying.
It is a political statement. I only needed one ball.